There is only one option left for the Toronto Blue Jays following an absolutely disastrous offseason so far. Is it possible for them to salvage it? Yes, but following missing out on Shohei Ohtani last year, missing out on Roki Sasaki, missing out on Juan Soto, Max Fried, Corbin Burns, the list goes on and on and on. There is nothing left that the Jays can do, aside from a miracle to salvage this offseason. We're going to break down what this means going forward, as well as some new reports and rumors that are circulating surrounding Ben Nicholson-Smith that kind of dives into why Ross Atkins did what he did. So stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. But before we get into it, quick reminder, if you're part of the percentage you aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. Thank you all. It means the world to myself. The Jays offseason has been terrible. There is no doubting that. No doubting it. However, your guys' support has been great, and that's been a bit of a bright side in what has been a disastrous offseason and a disastrous last 24, 48 hours and few weeks here. But again, thank you guys so much for your continued support. It means the world to myself. Let's dive into it. We know they missed out on Roki Sasaki. There are reports that they're going to be signing, or they're heavily pursuing Santander. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a move today, later this afternoon. Again, this video is going to be up early Saturday morning, so happy Saturday. But, ladies and gentlemen, a few things I want to do. Ben Nicholson-Smith drops a report late last night. Blue Jays now have this added bonus pool space. They'll attempt to make the most of it, but execs from other teams say there are no elite players left to steal right now, and Dodgers don't need it for Sasaki, so you can't flip that space to LA. So, this is all kinds of bad if you're the Toronto Blue Jays. Not only did they miss out on Miles Straw, and I'm very curious to see, because usually Ross Atkins comes out and speaks out following all of these moves, right? He comes out, he talks about, why the pursuit of Ohtani, they were, pleasure to be involved in the sweepstakes. Juan Soto, they were, a pleasure to be involved in the sweepstakes. Roki Sasaki, is he going to say the same thing? It was a pleasure to throw away $6 and $7 million over the next couple years. Execs say there are no elite IFAs left. And something that kind of got lost in this, not only did they miss out on Roki, not only did they trade 4 Miles Straw, taking, a completely, empty cash here. They're paying empty money. I don't even know if he's going to touch the Major League roster. He played 7 games last year on a Guardians team. Granted, the Guardians are better than the Blue Jays last year. But the loss in this is they missed out on a lot of the international free agents, and they had a lot of international free agents lined up. We know that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was one of those guys that they signed and was, generational. And now they missed out on all of them. So they miss out on the prize. It's 3 horrible dominoes. They miss out on the prize player. They miss out on any international free agents, and they have to absorb Miles Straw's contract. And like Jeff Pat said, I'm sorry, Toronto. Everybody feels bad for the Jays to a degree. I don't even feel bad for us fans anymore because, I feel bad for us fans. I don't feel bad for the front office. I feel bad for the fans. I don't feel bad for the front office. The front office has been an absolute disaster. It's been terrible. And Ross Atkins at this point, he needs to go. And I haven't really been saying that all offseason long, but he needs to go. And bearing a Santander, Alonso, Jack Flaherty offseason or something of that nature, unless that happens, there is no reason that he should be employed after this year with the Blue Jays. And I'm thinking now, I've been seeing some tweets about it. I wonder what Ed Rogers is thinking about this team. Hey, Ross Atkins just lost, is because it's Ed Rogers money in theory. Obviously not directly. $13 million they just gave away of Ed Rogers money today for nothing. And people are just absolutely irate about the Ben Nicholson-Smith tweet. And again, the rival executives say there's nothing left. The Jays can announce Santander today. It won't make people happy. It would be a good move, but still so much to be done. I literally laugh out loud regarding that thing. Straw's money's in the books. Rogers better be really opening the wallet. And that is the only savior for this offseason, is if Rogers really steps up and opens the wallet. And I'm not talking about opening the wallet to the degree of getting just Santander. You open it up for Santander. You open it up for Alex Bregman. You open it up for whoever else is left. Pete Alonso. Get it done. Because if you don't, it is, Miles Straw has a career 624 OPS. I don't even know how he got his contract in the first place. Obviously an elite defender. Really good defender. But, only so much defense on a team. Something else I want to point out. And this was a very interesting point. So when they made the trade, yesterday afternoon and last night, obviously yesterday evening when they missed out on Roki, one of 3 things are true. The Jays made that deal knowing they're getting Sasaki, which at the time they hadn't signed. He hadn't signed. The Jays made that deal hoping that that gets them Sasaki, but they have tons of budget room, so it's worth the gamble. Or 3, they don't have a lot of room and gambled. If it is number 3, Ross Atkins should be fired. If it's number 2, we better see them open up that budget space and say, okay, that the Miles Straw stuff, we gambled. We gambled, but we're going to use that money now to go out and get some crazy good players. If that happens, maybe it's forgivable. And obviously, number one didn't happen. The Jays didn't get Sasaki. So it has to be number two. And if it's number three, we're in serious trouble. If they just said, okay, well, we're going to gamble with Miles Straw. Worst case, we don't get him. And if they don't get him, then sure, we'll miss out on all the free agents. Disastrous. And boy, oh boy, is this report even better. The Guardians knew they were desperate, the executive said. As the second executive noted that $11.8 million they'll now spend on Straw could have gone towards another reliever or a bench bat. While the Straw deal won't stop the Jays from adding to the roster, every team has a budget. After Friday, Cleveland has some more work to work with. Masterclass to dump off so much money. Masterclass at the Jays' expense, by the way. For starters, it's safe to say the Guardians use the Blue Jays, exploiting their desire for international cap space. They now have a little obvious use for. They'll use on international players as the year progresses if possible, but the best prospects are already signed. Well, Sasaki using the Jays too, only he and a few others know that for sure, but given the concerns that he had a pre-existing deal with the Dodgers, it certainly benefits him to create the perception that other teams are seriously considered. At the same time, that could have been accomplished just as easily with the Reds, Nationals, or Astros. Sasaki chose the Blue Jays, suggesting he legitimately liked them enough to value their pitch, just not quite enough to sign with them. Painful as it must be for the front office, they were right to take that shot, though of course it would have been preferable to do so without having to take on Straw. Now the offseason's not done, so as the Jays could still emerge from spring training with a respectable team. I mean, it's not going to happen. Maybe it happened. And again, they're involved in the market. We know they're showing serious interest in power bats, ongoing discussions with Santander. I think Santander is probably going to be a Blue Jay. Alonso is probably going to be a Blue Jay. But to be told by other executives that you were used, that it was a masterclass, it keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse for the Toronto Blue Jays. And it's at the point now where Ross needs to go. It's just, again, we've done this so many times now, and there was a list of free agents. I don't have it here for you, but they missed out on over the past couple years. And it obviously goes back to last year as well, if you want to include Cody Bellinger. But Shohei Ohtani, like even in just this offseason, Corbin Burns sweepstakes, Max Fried sweepstakes to a degree, Roki Sasaki sweepstakes, Juan Soto sweepstakes. The Jays were finalists for Juan Soto. Wasn't nearly as bad as this, of course, but this is considerably worse than what we initially thought it was going to be. It is disastrous. It is terrible. And ultimately, the Toronto Blue Jays have a ton of work to do now. A boatload of work to do. If they don't do that, Jays fans aren't going to show up to games. Or at least they're going to be way more hesitant. If they do that, then we can have another conversation about what this means going forward for Ross Atkins. But let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting crazier. Reports are coming out. And man, oh man, is this going to be an interesting next few hours to weeks. We're going to keep you updated with all the latest news. If any news drops today, we'll keep you updated with a stream and a video. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you guys again for your support. It means the world to me. Even though the Jays are not rolling, you guys are crushing it. So thank you guys for that. See you later. Cheers.